In all the rural areas?
All the rural areas in the state. So there's no local government in Akwa Ibom that has not experienced at least 100 completed projects, whether by way of classroom blocks, whether by way of potable water, or you are talking about electrification, or you are talking about town hall, whatever nature of it. And so the result is that today we have raised electricity coverage in the state from a paltry 36% that I met on ground to almost 87%. And our intention in electricity, for instance, is to achieve 100% by 2015. And what have we done? We've given light to more than 1,556 villages. We buy transformers almost on a monthly basis. And we are struggling because I don't like the photo show of going to cut the tape to give light to a community. Otherwise, we would have been seeing it every day. If I were to go out commissioning projects that we have done, I would never have time to work because I can commission projects from the first day of the year to the 31st. And this is the truth. My team is alive and they are working.
So generation is also what you've been able to do.
Yes, not only that. You come and we have a Ministry of Rural Development that is taking care of the rural population. And outside that, we also try to link up the rural communities with good roads.
Do you do this in conjunction with the local governments, knowing full well that you also have an experience in grassroots administration before you came in as governor? So do you do this in isolation of those chairmen and councillors?
Well, the Akwa Ibom is slightly different. The local governments are also working. I'm very impressed. In partnership with them, we have completed 31 numbered estates, for instance. Because the greatest problem you have in each state is that the local government chairmen tend to live in the state capital. And so they are like absentee landlords. You hardly see them, except when they are going for salaries. And so in Akwa Ibom, we decided to build security villages, where the local government chairman lives there, the vice chairman stays there, the police, the DPO for that local government stays there, the head of personnel, everybody, so that if there's any infraction in terms of security, it will be easy to go to the place and report. I said, this is the problem with the local government, and you know where to go to, and you know where to see your helmsmen. So that's one side of it. And outside that, they are also achieving a lot. Some of them have built fantastic halls. Some have contributed in a lot of ways in agriculture. Some have contributed in infrastructure in the various LGS. At the last count, we had over 450 completed projects by local governments. And each time I went on a small visit and I see these things, and I ask them, how come? They will tell me, we want to follow your footsteps, Your Excellency, to unleash uncommon transformation of the people. In spite of the fact that money is going to LGS all over the country are not enough. But in Akwa Ibom, they've been able to use the monies well, that there is no local government that has not done 1, 2, 3, sometimes up to 10 projects. And that is in line with what the administration is doing. And I was talking about before that we even tried our best to ensure that we link up major rural communities with good roads. And this is spread across the entire 31 local governments of the state. And you'll be very impressed. And for instance, we also decided, even in healthcare, we attempted to build hospitals in rural communities and in places that people never thought could even have a building. I give an example. For instance, in a place like Ibra, we built a general hospital there, and that's where the headquarters of ExxonMobil is, where they are more or less, not headquarters, where they are prospecting oil from. And we built also one in East Nobolo, and those are remote local governments of the state. And then we went just between East Nobolo and Parene, we built a university, a state university, which we are now on the third year. And I'm sure you are hearing this for the first time, because as you bring in students into the free education policy for all Nigerian children in Akwa Ibom that starts from primary school all the way to senior secondary school level, then you are now going to have, in full, excellent number of students applying for tertiary education. And so we found that there was need for us to provide an alternative to the universities that are available in the country. So we built a state university. We are funding it. We are now on the third year, and it's right in the rural community. And so it will be impressive for you to go around. I don't want to talk about so many things that we have done, but the people can talk about them. The people will talk about it. For instance, we had a community that was cut off from civilization for over 30 years.
Which one is that?
We call it Ika local government. At the time, between 2002 and 2005, it was overtaken by militants. Nobody could go there. The divisional time officer of that local government was slaughtered by militants, and his body parts were strewn all over the place. So for over 3-4 years, nobody could access that place. Because even if you have a problem, there was no road. The only buried bridge they had is a road called the Timegbo, had collapsed in 1969. And so when we came back from the war, every single child that comes from that region, that wishes to access the state it comes from, has to go through Obingwa, has to go through Aba, has to go through Abia State, and crisscross the Ikere to come here. And I went for campaign, and it was the same thing. I stayed inside the bush for over 6 hours, and I started weeping because I was very insistent. I said, I'm not going to pass through Abia State in order to go back to you. But it was impossible. At the end of the day, by 1 a.m., I eventually passed through Abia State. So that was the first road we intervened. And I thank the President Goodluck Jonathan, because he came and commissioned that road. 4 hours after he left, women were still sitting on the road crying. 56 kilometers complete with a bridge. That is the Boika road. And then today it links up Ibukem in Abia State. Now I can tell you that for some people, that is uncommon transformation. Okay. And for a child that came back from Gabon, we have over 650 children in the home here in Uyo, which we call Divine Children's Home. They came back from various parts of the world. You see a child of 10, 11 years with a 9-month-old baby. So a child carrying a child. And you say, how did this happen? The child said, oh, I was abducted from Akwa Ibom and deceived that I would have education in Lagos, but I was taken to Gabon for child prostitution. And so in the process, she ended up having a child. And they returned here. So 650 of them, my wife is taking care of them. And we've given them uniform. They are all in school. And I keep telling them that, yes, indeed, this government was for you. Because that small child, that destitute, that orphan, that had no hope at all, that is now in school, is the future senator of tomorrow. And that is, for me, uncommon transformation.
Let me jump in here, Your Excellency, because, I mean, yes, we spoke to a number of people in town. Some of them acknowledge the work you're doing in roads. What about youth empowerment? Because in spite of all this, industrialization is key. What are you doing to empower youth?
Well, I think that is one area that, like I said, our administration is holistic. We look at all issues. We can't have all answers because we don't have all the money. But really, we are trying. This is one government that is very youth-friendly. The whole state will tell you that. In fact, just 4 days ago, I received an award from Niger Delta Young Professionals in Lagos. And I was the only governor so honored. And they told me that it is because of my policy of youth empowerment. One of the things we did was to include the youths in the administration. Outside making some of them special assistants, outside also giving the opportunities to serve as special advisors in LGS, in the local governments in the state. We also set up different schemes to engage them. For instance, we have what we call Integrated Farmer Scheme. Within that scheme, we train young graduates. And at the end of the training, we give them about 500,000 naira as take-off grants for them to establish small farms. So some of them are involved in smellery, some of them are involved in piggery, some of them are involved in production of in poultry, and some are involved in small farms, vegetables and all that. And this is what is happening across the state, and thousands of them have benefited. So we now normally camp them, and then camp them for about 6 weeks to 3 months, and train them in integrated farming in various areas, so that it doesn't matter what that policy does, it's school to land. It takes you out from school, you go back to land immediately after your NYSC. That's one side of it. And then the other side is that we have what we call inter-ministerial direct labor coordinating jobs. What do? We bring out small jobs from various ministries, and sometimes they add up 5, 10, 20 billion at the end of the year. And then we farm them out into 5, 10 million, and then give them out for the people to do as direct labor. And that has worked out, and that's the one I was telling you that we have been able to achieve up to 4,000 projects. They were not done by international contractors. They were done by Akwa Ibom children and Akwa Ibom people. So that's also another means of empowerment. And then also, we also even selected women. The first batch of 4,500 women we did. Last year, we won an award from Central Bank. That one, we call it WADEP, Women in Agriculture Development Program. We train the women also in agriculture, and then enhance them with a non-interest loan of about 250,000 naira each for seedlings, and that is working. And of course, the government is directly also providing employment with the various contracts we are doing in the state. And then, of course, we have attempted to partner with international organizations to bring industries to the state. For instance, as I speak with you now, we have a private sector-driven gas processing plant, the first in the whole of Nigeria now, that is ready for commissioning by the president in his local government. This government had to partner with them, and we did 69 kilometers of gas pipeline from Esreket all the way to our independent power plant in the Goravasi. We can supply to Aluminium Smelter Company, we can supply to Ascon, and at the moment the NIPP project under the vice president is considering taking that gas from where it is now in Esreket to supply to the NIPP in Calabar. So,
what about the SMEs you promised? Because someone here in Nano says, well, he's an ExxonMobil staff. Well, that you have turned